Chapter 1, The Quiet Boy from Bombay. Ratan Tata was born on December 28, 1937 in Bombay, now called Mumbai. From the outside, his childhood looked easy, but inside it was full of silence and learning. When he was 10 years old, his parents went separate ways, and his loving grandmother, Lady Navajbai Tata, raised him. She was a wise woman who taught him to stay humble and treat everyone equally. Ratan grew up shy, polite, and always curious about how things worked. He would open his toys just to understand their parts and try to fix them again. At school, he avoided showing pride in his family name. Teachers noticed that he preferred sitting with ordinary students and helping others quietly. One day, when a classmate slipped on the stairs, Ratan rushed to help even before the teachers reached. That small act showed what kind of person he was becoming, a helper, not a showman. He never talked much, but people around him always felt his quiet warmth. These early lessons of kindness and patience stayed in his heart forever. Chapter 2, The Student Who Built His Own Path. After finishing school, Ratan went to the United States to study architecture and engineering at Cornell University. Life there was very different. He had to clean his own room, wash dishes, and live in cold weather without comfort. Still, he enjoyed the freedom. One day, a professor told him, "You don't seem like a rich man's son." Ratan smiled and said, "Real wealth is not what we own, but what we create." During his breaks, he worked at construction sites, carrying tools and drawing late into the night. His classmates never knew his background, and he liked it that way. Once, when a worker laughed at him for being too respectful, Ratan replied, "Being kind is never a weakness." He learned to live simply, eat little, and value effort. Even when he could have stayed in America, his heart pulled him back to India. He saw how many people needed better lives and safer work. He decided to return home, ready to serve quietly and prove that success means lifting others, not just oneself. Chapter 3, The Early Struggles. When Ratan came back to India in 1962, he joined Tata Steel in Jamshedpur. Not as a boss, but as a worker. He wanted to understand life from the ground level. He wore a helmet, worked with machines, and ate in the same canteen as everyone else. One evening during heavy rain, a big machine stopped working, and most officers left early. Ratan stayed back with a few workers to fix it. They worked all night, and when it started again, he smiled with joy like a child. The workers began respecting him, not because of his name, but because of his honesty. Later, when he was given charge of small Tata companies, some senior managers doubted him. They said he was too quiet and not tough enough. But Ratan believed that calmness could be stronger than anger. He handled every problem patiently and kept learning. Every morning he arrived early and left last. His success grew slowly, step by step, through real work, not by showing authority. Those who once doubted him slowly began to admire his quiet strength. Chapter 4, The Leader Who Stayed Human. When Ratan Tata became the head of the Tata Group in 1991, India was changing fast. Many expected a hard and distant leader, but he surprised everyone with his warmth. His first step was to visit every Tata office and factory. He spoke to engineers, drivers, clerks, and even security guards. Once, a worker softly said, "Sir, our fans in the workshop are not working." Ratan wrote it down himself and smiled. "They'll work by tomorrow." The next day, they were replaced. That small promise spread everywhere. The new boss listens. Once, when an employee couldn't pay for his mother's medical care, Ratan quietly arranged help without telling anyone. The man found out years later and was deeply moved. In every meeting, Ratan looked people in the eyes and said, "We are a family." He never raised his voice, but his kindness gave people courage. Even with great power, he stayed simple, drinking tea in the same cups as others and walking alone without guards. His leadership was not about control, It was about care. Chapter 5. The Dream Called Nano. One rainy evening, Ratan Tata saw a family of 4 riding on a scooter, the father driving carefully, the mother holding a little child, and the wind blowing strongly. That picture stayed in his heart. He thought, there should be a safer way for families like this to travel. That thought became the beginning of the Tata Nano, the world's most affordable small car. People laughed at the idea. Some said it was impossible. But Ratan gathered his team and said, "We'll build it for the people, not for pride." During the project, he often visited the factory floor. One day, he saw a worker wearing a torn uniform and quietly asked the manager to get new ones for everyone. "If we can make a car for every family, we can also make dignity part of the work," he said softly. When the Nano was finally launched, it became more than a car. It became a message of care. It showed that true innovation comes not from showing power, but from feeling the needs of others. Chapter 6. Lessons from a Gentle Heart. Even after reaching the highest position, Ratan Tata stayed grounded. He was known to visit employees during difficult times, offering help and calm words. During one hard period in the city, he personally met workers who had suffered loss and told them gently, "We'll stand together until everything is fine." He made sure every affected family received help. Years later, during the global health crisis, when many companies reduced jobs, Ratan said clearly, "No one from our group will be left without support." He proved that business could have a heart. Even in old age, he still visits Tata offices quietly, often driving himself. Once, a guard asked, "Sir, why no big car or escort?" Ratan smiled. "Respect doesn't come from cars." He lives in a small home with his dogs, replies to young people online, and supports new ideas from students and startups. To millions, he is not just a businessman. He is a reminder that kindness, courage, and simplicity can guide a whole nation toward goodness.